This is macOS Ken.
A bad quarter for Foxconn, a new country for Apple's online store, and big trailers for Apple TV Plus. It is Friday, the 12th of May, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Foxconn got the tar beaten out of it last quarter, and there was little iPhone could do to stop it. A piece from Bloomberg says analysts had been expecting the contract manufacturer to report net income of roughly $970 million US, and it missed that by a mile, instead reporting net income of $417 million US. If you're wondering what went weak, it was everything but the iPhone. Stronger than expected iPhone sales during the March quarter failed to completely offset weakness in overall Android phone making, according to Bloomberg, and that is not expected to get better this year. The piece cites data from market tracker IDC saying global shipments of smartphones running the Android system are projected to decline 1.2% this year due to weak demand and ongoing macroeconomic challenges. Japanese display maker Sharp, now a Foxconn subsidiary, reported a net loss of $1.9 billion US. Foxconn's deal with Lordstown Motors fell apart. Except for the iPhone portion, the March quarter was not a great quarter for Apple's manufacturing partner. Apple is expanding its online retail presence next week. A piece from 9to5Mac says the Cupertino company is opening its online store to shoppers in Vietnam. The press release announcing the news was not in English, though 9to5Mac quotes it as saying, "The Apple Store online offers a seamless experience for customers to shop for Apple products in both Vietnamese and English. Customers can shop with a specialist, browse the latest products, explore new features, and learn about switching to iOS." Anyway, they will be able to. The store goes live in Vietnam next Thursday, the 18th of May. Apple threw a kind of PR combo on Thursday. According to another piece from 9to5Mac, the Cupertino company posted the results of a new study that showed small developers making more money through the App Store. The 9to5 piece points out that the post comes as Apple battles regulators over App Store rules. Certainly that could be one reason to publish the findings, though getting developers excited about developing for the App Store headed into WWDC in a few weeks could be another, hence the PR combo. Run by economists at Analysis Group, points in the post pointed out by 9to5Mac include more than 90% of developers in the App Store were considered small developers in 2022. The App Store offers reach. The study indicates that close to 80% of small developers made their apps available through multiple storefronts. According to the piece, about 40% of total downloads of apps from all small developers came from users outside of each developer's home country. Total App Store earnings of small developers who were active in 2020 increased by 71% in 2022, and over 40% of developers who made $1 million or more selling in the App Store in 2022 were either not on the App Store or had less than $10,000 in earnings 5 years before. Such numbers might help Apple make the case for competition in the App Store to competition authorities. They may also be an effective way for Apple to say to developers, why you want to mess with this good thing we've got going? You know, if sideloading actually becomes a thing. Money made by developers may not be enough to appease some regulators. A report from ABC News says Italy's antitrust authority is probing allegations that Apple is abusing its dominant position in the app market, thwarting competition. The problem as they see it is app tracking transparency. That's the feature added by Apple in iOS 15 that keeps developers and advertisers from tracking user activity across apps and on the web without getting the user's permission. According to the report, the authority alleges that Apple's privacy policy for third-party developers is more restrictive than the one applied to its own apps, using language that discourages tracking. They say Apple's getting the good data, and that the data supplied to third parties doesn't tell them enough about the effectiveness of their advertising. According to the authority, the presumed discriminatory conduct by Apple can cause a drop in advertising proceeds by third-party developers in favor of its own commercial division. Apple surprised no one in defending app tracking transparency. That defense? It's letting users decide whether they want to be tracked. The nerve. The Cupertino company says that the rules apply equally to all developers, including Apple. It also said that it will continue to engage constructively with the Italian authority. I know there's a reason release candidates are called candidates. Still, it's always weird to hear about a second one. And yet, a piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has made a second release candidate for macOS Ventura 13.4 available to developers. It's expected out next week. No pressure. If you use Facebook Messenger on Apple Watch, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news, you'll be able to keep getting Messenger notifications on your watch come June. The bad news, you won't be able to respond from it. iDownload blog had the former worst thing to happen to the internet, announcing Thursday that it's killing the Messenger app for Apple Watch. According to the report, some Messenger users got the message. After the 31st of May, Messenger won't be available as an Apple Watch app, but you can still use Messenger notifications on your watch. Facebook/Meta confirmed that news in a statement to Review Geek, saying, people can still receive Messenger notifications on their Apple Watch when paired, but starting at the end of May, they will no longer be able to respond from their watch, but they can continue using Messenger on their iPhone, desktop, and the web. For its part, iDownload blog thinks the move is about dragging eyeballs back to where the ads are. Whatever the reason, time is running out for the Facebook Messenger app on Apple Watch. More news in a moment, but first a word from HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit and sponsor of today's show. Cooking up something new is so easy with HelloFresh. I've got cookbooks. Sometimes I look through them for new recipes, but I'm turned off by the number of ingredients I would have to buy. Ingredients I may never use again. Not a problem with HelloFresh. They deliver fresh, pre-proportioned ingredients so you have exactly what you need. Oh, and recipe cards with pictures and step-by-step instructions so you'll know what to do with the stuff they send. Sometimes when cooking, you end up in a rut. HelloFresh can pull you out of it. From fit and wholesome to pescatarian to vegetarian, they've got a meal plan for you, though you can go off menu. With HelloFresh, you can swap out proteins and sides as you see fit. I have made some fantastic meals with HelloFresh. Let me know what you make. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals. Don't miss this great offer on America's #1 meal kit. Get free shipping and 16 free meals with code MOK16 at hellofresh.com/MOK16. A much-anticipated documentary has hit Apple TV+. Still, a Michael J. Fox movie has landed on the Cupertino streamer. It's currently got a 99 with critics and a 100 with the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. Rated R for language, so maybe wait until the kids are in bed for this one, or be ready to answer questions from teachers come Monday. 2 big trailers about which to tell you. A piece from Cult of Mac says Apple TV Plus has let fly with the trailer for The Crowded Room. In case you've lost track, Apple says The Crowded Room follows Danny Sullivan, played by Tom Holland, a man who was arrested following his involvement in a shooting in New York City in 1979. A captivating thriller told through a series of interviews with curious interrogator Raya Goodwin, played by Amanda Seyfried. Danny's life story unfolds, revealing elements of the mysterious past that shaped him and the twists and turns that will lead him to a life-altering revelation. The first 3 episodes of the 10-episode drama hit Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 9th of June. If you want to see what you're in for, the trailer is up now on YouTube. As for the other trailer, Make Way for Harry Seldon and all of the Galactic Emperors, the 2nd season of Foundation is on the way. Engadget says Apple TV Plus is hit with both a premiere date and a trailer for Season 2. The theme for the trailer is Uprising, which makes the start date kind of funny. Season 2 of Foundation begins on Bastille Day, Friday, the 14th of July. The trailer is both eye-popping and confusing. You can catch it now on YouTube. We'll wrap the day with news of 3 pieces of Apple and Steve Jobs history. First, the auctions for that check signed by Jobs back in 1976 and his business card from Next have come to an end. The check was kind of a big deal for a few reasons. Among them, it was written while Apple was still making computers out of the Jobs family garage. It was written to a heavy-hitter management consulting firm just months after the company was founded, and it was signed by Jobs himself. RR Auction expected the check to go for somewhere in the neighborhood of $25,000. Found a better neighborhood than that, though. A piece from Cult of Mac says it ended up selling for $106,985. Less impressive, though not nothing, was the Next business card, wielded by Jobs when he was that company's chairman and CEO. RR Auction thought that would go for about $800. When the hammer fell, it ended up fetching $3,076. And finally today, the other bit of history is less about Jobs and more about Apple, though Jobs did have a hand in it. Actually, his whole body was in it at least once. I told you last week that Apple's first ever retail store was moving from one part of the mall it's in to another. We've now got a date for that. A piece from Mac Rumors says the redesigned and relocated Tysons Corner store in Fairfax, Virginia will make the move on the 19th of May. There is significance to that date. Mac Rumors says it will mark the 22nd anniversary of the date that the store originally opened on the 19th of May, 2001. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Go to hellofresh.com/MOK16 and use code MOK16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.